The other news this Friday night, the U.S. now declaring a public health emergency amid this outbreak of the coronavirus across the globe. We have now witnessed the largest spike yet in deaths in a 24-hour period since this outbreak began. New restrictions here in the U.S. Foreign nationals who pose a risk of spreading the virus will be barred from entering the country, and planes from China will now only be allowed at 7 airports in the U.S. And tonight, the 195 Americans evacuated from China and in quarantine at a military base in California have now been told they must remain there for 2 weeks. And we have just learned tonight a 7th case now confirmed here in the U.S. Here's ABC's Adrian Bankert.
Tonight, in a rare move, the U.S. declaring coronavirus a public health emergency. President Trump barring foreign nationals who pose a transmission risk from entering the country. In effect, a temporary ban on nearly all Chinese travelers, the world's most populous country. Planes from China will only be allowed to land at 7 U.S. airports starting Sunday. Americans returning from the hot zone could be subject to 14 days of quarantine. Already in isolation, 195 Americans who chartered from the epicenter of the outbreak. What was once a 3-day voluntary observation now extended to a mandatory 2 weeks at an airbase in Riverside, California. The first time in 50 years the CDC has had to issue such an order.
We were all wearing masks. We were all taking major precautions to not touch or shake hands or take the mask off our faces because, again, we weren't in the clear.
Today, officials said no one was presenting any symptoms, but the virus has a 2-week incubation period. Officials are exercising extreme caution.
We are relieved to hear this. We don't want to put anybody at risk back home, and if this is the best way to do that, then we're okay with it.
Patrick and Ping Stockstill and their 2 young children, the eldest just 3 years old, are all stuck on the base after visiting relatives in China.
I left my family behind. I didn't have a choice, and I feel so bad that they're still stuck in China, and I had to go.
Hundreds of Americans remain stranded in Wuhan, waiting for the government to send in another charter.
I feel a little bit trapped in Wuhan. It's an interesting feeling. You're trapped, you're isolated.
Tonight, 3 major U.S. airlines and dozens of international carriers are suspending flights to China. This after the State Department issued a do not travel advisory warning against traveling to the country. Cases in China spiking with the largest jump in fatalities in a 24-hour period. 213 deaths since the outbreak began. Roughly 9,700 cases confirmed. Wuhan remains on lockdown, the city a ghost town.
And Adrian Baker joins us from the military base where those families are being quarantined in California. And Adrian, we know before that action was taken that thousands actually flew to the U.S. from the region, and officials were asked about all those people today, whether or not they're being tracked in any way.
Yes, that's right, David. In fact, new information about the virus is coming to light, and officials say that we will likely see more new cases. However, officials are also stressing that the chances of contracting the virus here in America still remain very low. And they also want you to be on the lookout for symptoms like heavy coughing and fever. David?
Adrian, thank you. The coronavirus, this global outbreak affecting the economy already. In fact, we witnessed a major sell-off on Wall Street today, the Dow falling 603 points, more than 2%. So let's get straight to our chief economics correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, at the New York Stock Exchange tonight. Rebecca.
David, after today's declines, the Dow has completely wiped out its gains for the year. And the big question on Wall Street tonight, how long will this outbreak last and how hard might it hit? Many major U.S. companies from Apple to Nike to McDonald's and Starbucks have significant exposure to China. And as you just heard, with a number of airlines from Delta to United to American suspending those flights to China, their stocks hit hard today. The big question going forward, how much longer does it last? David?
Rebecca Jarvis on Wall Street for us. Rebecca, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.